At The Economist, when we first started doing audio and video, we started with audio conversations. And one of the things that we heard from guests was that they really liked the opportunity to speak at length about complex subjects. So we didn't want to lose that when we started shooting video, and we also wanted to find our own niche. We can't out CNN. We certainly can't beat the BBC at being the BBC. So we tried to figure out a format that would allow us to do one thing that we do well, which is let people talk at length on sometimes very dense subjects, and let them talk at a length that would allow them to make sense of them.
Shami Chakrabarti is one of Britain's best-known campaigners for human rights and individual freedom. Those values were more respected, she says, when she was growing up in the 1970s.
As you know, The Economist is an anonymous organization. Our writers in the paper can't use their names, so we had to come up with a format that allowed us to shoot an interview without revealing who we were. It's also very convenient for everybody because we can dress like we're on radio. It doesn't really matter. You just sort of need somebody's shoulder and a suit coat. So the idea behind Tea With is that I wanted something iconic that would stand out on the web. And I think that there are a lot of things that are unnecessary in video. That I think there are a lot of instances where video fails to add something that's not already there in the audio. And for us internally, that's sort of the rule that we use, is that if the video doesn't add anything, then we'll just record it as an audio. Generally with audio on the internet, all of us, all news organizations have to do a better job of packaging audio so that it makes sense on the site. Audio does much better as a download than it does as a stream. I think this is true for all organizations. It's been true for any organization that I've worked for. And that is because the packaging is right as a download. It goes into your iPod, you know how to listen to it. The packaging, I don't think, is yet right on the web. The idea of tea is a little bit of a gimmick, but it felt to me very British, and to be honest, I was hesitant about pitching it internally because I thought, well, this is a bit of a cliche, you know, British people drink tea, and I'm not sure whether we want to do this, but when I did, it turned out to be sort of something that we grasped internally is something that we would want to do. And it actually turns out to be much more relaxing for the guest because you can fool yourself if you're sort of sitting in a studio with a bunch of lights and you just happen to be drinking tea, that maybe you're just drinking tea. So it turns out to be actually a very successful prop to have this cup of tea. I'm much more interested in creating an archive of interesting conversations than I am in breaking news. We don't really look for sound bites, or we tell everybody at the beginning of the interview we're not really looking to ask gotcha questions. I'm sure if our PR department hears me saying this, they'll kill me, because we do try to make sure that if anybody says something really interesting, we get a press release out. But I'm actually much more interested in bringing people in who have anecdotes and a story to tell than I am in bringing in an analyst who might be able to give us sort of a one-week picture on what happens to be going on. There's a place for that, and I think it's very valuable, and it's something that our print journalists do all the time. They talk to a lot of analysts, but we're much more interested in talking to somebody who has a story. We did a shoot today with Tim Berners-Lee here at the event at the Finnish Embassy, which you helped us set up, so thank you. And he's in a way the perfect guest, because he has a lot of interesting things to say about what's happening right now, and he has a very long history that he can speak about that's rich with anecdotes that makes for a much more interesting conversation. So I think if you were to put it in American TV terms, we're probably much more Charlie Rose than we are Katie Couric.